so if we're saying that it's naturally impossible for men to control their sexual desires, then is it unrealistic to expect men to remain disciplined in marriage?
Absolutely.
Ooh,
Yes.
Show it to be the truth.
Discipline in life. Fuck marriage.
How you
You
phrased
won't
it.
even, you
Well,
probably won't
honestly,
even
if
make
you
it to marriage.
It's,
when you think about
Rilla,
it,
it's
men
not
get
an
it
all or
off.
everything. So I caught what you just did. I commend you for trying to
How
slip
you
that
do
line.
how you do one
But
thing is how you do
nothing is an
everything.
absolute.
Say, Kenny.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you
Okay.
have no discipline, if you have no dick discipline, then you're going to have no money discipline. You're going to have
like
no
this.
no
I got
no
this.
no diet discipline.
I got this.
Go ahead. What you got to say?
Okay,
Because
so
that's
were
a
you
fact.
married when you had? Did you marry the woman you had your first child by?
Why y'all be doing this, bro?
Right.
Ad
Because
hominem,
fucking
ad
it
hominem
matters.
fact.
Get to your
Y'all
point.
come
matters.
with these ass.
We already talked about this. Darwin just
I never asked
addressed
you that.
it.
I never asked you that.
We already talked about this. Every
No,
man has a past,
I
but
am
what matters is
challenging
what
what
is
you
it that
just
you're
said.
doing now?
I am
What are you doing now
challenging
with
what
the
you-
information that you have?
for one at a time.
That's
John.
simple.
I am challenging what you just said. So you're not you speak a good game, but if I look at your resume, you didn't follow it. And you don't follow it right now. So how are you beating on the podium if you wait? Let me look at your past. Let me look at your testimony to see if it matches your purpose. That's
Go
what
ahead.
I said about that's what I said about Darwin. Darwin,
and like I said, a smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from others. So in my wisdom, I have learned from my mistakes, and now I'm preaching what it is that I'm living. So you can go ahead. You can bring up what I did all day in the past.
Yeah, a smart man also updates his resume too, Kenny. Whenever he has new qualifications, he updates the experiences and qualifications so he can.
So what's the point of you bringing it up if you know that?
One at a time, fam. They can't hear when y'all going all over each other. They cannot hear.
So here's the thing: a leader leads by example as well. So we can do all this. Oh, I was messed up back then, but now I'm better. Or you can look at just as somebody that has shown you that way the entire time. Was real about what they're doing and what they're showing you and what they want things to be. See, that's how I operate, right? I operate based on what I've done, what I'm doing, and what I'm going to continue to do. I'm not going to shun somebody else because they did it different than I did it. But what I will tell them is, look, you can look at what I've done and model yourself after that, and I'm pretty sure you'll be in great shape. You dig what I'm saying? That's something that I always preach. That's something that I always say because I can prove it. The proof is in the work. I don't want to hear all this. Oh, but a man can change and this. Yeah, you can. Or you can look at somebody else and say, hey, buddy was doing it right the whole time. You dig what I'm saying? There's value in that as well. It might not be running along the same lines of what you think somebody's telling you now is okay. But just know those mistakes that y'all probably made beforehand, I don't think I did. You dig what I'm saying? I did it a consistent way. The same way, the way I'm showing those coming up behind me. So when I hear people hop on and be like, oh, we're doomed because of this, that, and the other, y'all might want to look at your own track record. Check the board. You better holler at Buddy in them because his shit right there straight. That's my problem. You know what I'm saying? Don't say that doom shit.
Law, for the record, you've been with your lady for how many decades now?
Shit, damn near 3.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to clarify that for the audience. I want to move the ball around a little bit though. Wizzle been quiet for a minute. Wizzle, did you have anything to get in on the question? If we're saying if we agree or the understanding is that it's impossible for men to control their sexual appetites, is it unrealistic to expect men to be disciplined in marriage? That's the question.
So I don't think it's unrealistic, which is why when we were speaking about it earlier, I prefaced it by saying I would like for my son not to get in a serious relationship until he's older than 25. One, because the biology and the things that will push him to be extremely sexually active, they start to temper down around that age. And once you're to a point where sex isn't as big of a motivating factor in all the things you do, then you can then think about getting in a relationship and being able to maintain that discipline. for me specifically, I was the #1 player in the state of Illinois coming out of high school. I went to a school where I won a national championship there. My experience with women is completely different than most people's. And my son is probably going to be like 6'8", 6'9", and extremely attractive. His experience is going to be completely different. When I'm speaking, I'm talking to, I preface it because I try not to jump on other people's lifestyle and tell them what they are or not doing. When we had this conversation initially, I said, that's fine. I'm not mad at that. What in an ideal world or whatever you're doing, I'm fine with that. However, for me specifically, I'm not telling my son that because I understand what he's about to face. The women that he's going to be, that's going to throw themselves at him from 16 to 20, he don't need to settle down with none of these women. And it's going to be impossible for him to just abstain and stay away from women and hide in the corner. That's not the life he's more than likely going to be living. So when I'm talking, I'm specifically speaking to my situation and my child and what he will be interacting with. Everybody else is fine to think and believe whatever they want. And I'm happy for you. As long as it works and you got great outcomes, the fruits of your labor, I'm happy for you and I champion that, right? I champion it. However, when you take the mantle to come and castigate me, then we have an issue. I have no issue with no man living their life how they want. Don't impede on mine. I won't impede on yours, especially if I ain't asked for it.
Well, so Marcus, I to the point of the question though, and I understand what you're saying, especially if he's going to be an athlete, he's attractive. Absolutely, they're going to be throwing it at him. But the question is it impossible if he can't control his sexual desires, right? So I think the point that we're trying to highlight is, yes, women are going to be throwing it at him every single day, every moment, right? By default. So is it an expectation for him, or will it backfire if he now becomes addicted to it, if he gets lost in the sauce, to where this one chick get him and he doesn't get past that part where sex is no longer a big issue? Now it gets to the point where he's so caught up in the sex that is fuck basketball. Then what?
That's his decision to make. If he wants to, I'll support him or whatever. That journey might look different. When I get to that road where he does not have them same type of options, opportunities, and the lifestyle that's in front of him, then I'll try and help him navigate that to the best of my ability. I know one way of a lifestyle that I've grown up through. So all I can speak to with my child, who looks very eerily similar to what's about to happen, is my experience, and that's complete. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think that my experience is so different. I'm probably the only one who come here and consistently say there are a lot of good women out here, because the influx of the women that I've seen a lot of great women, a lot of marriageable women. I see them. I've interacted with them. I don't have the same experience.
I agree with you on that.
Hold on, Viz. I want to be able to move the ball around, so get some other people in here too. Hank, I know you got a similar experience to what Wizzle is talking about, so I don't know if you want to answer the question or speak to even how you pouring into Little Hank.
You want to go into the
you're on mute.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good, Hank.
Okay. So, like Marcus, my son plays basketball now, and so opportunities are going to come, and they're going to come. I mean, but I had to make sure, and I did this for him in middle school, on what I had to teach my son on preventive maintenance. If opportunity presents itself, this is what you need to do. Make sure you protect yourself. Make sure if you're in this situation, when you're in the dorm and this woman, I told him, leave the doors open. Don't even close the doors until it's about to happen. And if for some reason she decided to say no at any point, get the hell out of there. Don't stay. Even if she asks you, would you just stay, just cuddle? Don't cuddle with her, because you're going to be tempted. Because the process has already started. She didn't got your loins burning, and it's gonna happen. If you don't have the proper protection, don't stay. Don't accept a condom from any woman. You bring your own. Do not let a woman provide protection for you, because you don't know her agenda. I'm on the preventative maintenance side, and to go back with what Sweeney was talking about, you have to adjust what's happening. Before, Your father didn't have to have a conversation about homosexualism. That shit was taboo. If you found somebody gay in your school, you would criticize them. You would talk about. They will be stoned in your neighborhood. Now we have to have that conversation with my granddaughter, and she's only in the 1st grade. We have to have that conversation because we have to adjust to what's going on in society. Some of y'all churches y'all go to got them sissy ass pastors up in the pulpit,
everywhere,
or they got female ministers up in the pulpit, or you got that gay ass choir director that's leading the choir. But guess what? Y'all accept that? Y'all okay with that? Why don't y'all speak against that bullshit? No, we only want to speak because you heterosexual men want to knock down every heifer out here. No, that's some bullshit. You got to talk about all of that bullshit. You got to teach your kids about everything that's going on, that's going to come their way. Whether it's the money pits, whether it's the emotional ups and downs you got to deal with, whether it's the dealing with the society, what's going on, and them wanting to teach a sexuality that you don't agree with, you have to address all of those things. I'll leave it there.
Sweeney, go ahead since he addressed you by name.
So I was very specific in what I said. Yes, you're supposed to educate your child on the world that is around them. When I said you don't cater your message, if you have a moral compass, your moral compass doesn't bend to society. That's what I was talking about. So if you tell your son this is not what you're supposed to do, you don't then turn around and tell them, hey, go ahead and do this thing because the world says that it's okay. That's what I was specifically speaking to. Now, I don't think Hink has ever said that he would teach his son to go. I'm noticing Hink's message, and he's saying that he's just on the side of, son, protect yourself at all times. I don't think he's ever said to actively go out there and just, well, no, he actually did say he was a heathen, so he's gonna tell his son it's okay for him to be a heathen too, I think.
That ain't what
I'm being facetious. I'm just, you know what I mean? But my entire point is that if you have a hard line, if you have a message and a guiding principle, you don't adjust your principles to acquiesce to society or teach your principles, because and I'm not the most religious person, but even God doesn't do that. God don't sit there and say, hey, look, this is what I tell you not to do, but because the world is the world, here's I'm gonna bend the rules for you.
How do you know he did it and bless somebody with the knowledge to create condoms?
Hold on, Sharon, because
hold on, Sharon. I'm gonna get you next.
Here's the thing: when it comes to what we teach our sons, we don't teach our sons based off of the peer pressure that they get from their kids. You don't alter your message based off of what they may or may not learn from the outside world. You teach them what you're supposed to teach them, because I guarantee you, if any one of y'all sons came in and said they wanted to play in the LGBT community, y'all would vehemently be able to walk that down and tell them, I'm not playing that. So the message should still remain the same. If your message is the message, you shouldn't cater your message to the way of the outside world. That's not how
exactly what we're doing, though.
That is not what
Sweeney,
we're doing.
how many kids you got?
I have 3.
Now, with
that being said,
how old is your oldest?
And you share that message.
What does that have to do with
How old is your oldest?
Really, ask the next question, bro.
No, how old is your oldest child?
Because I don't see how that question is relevant.
You can't have an honest discussion.
What is about to happen is he's going to say, your oldest is not old enough. I got an older son, so this is what.
So now you're speaking for him rather than.
Because he already asked me this question. He already asked me this question before, bro. We've already been down this road.
All right, so then listen.